What's up, guys? Welcome back to Spoiling Movies. My name is Chris, and I have got a doozy for you this time. Ooh, this is one that I was not looking forward to. It was suggested by my buddy Kyle, and thanks a lot, friend. It's The Room. If you've not seen any of these types of reviews that I do, I am going to be breaking the movie down bit by bit and spoiling it, telling you basically everything that happens and how I feel about it. And let's get going. There's a lot of shots of water. They're like over a bay. I don't know if this is New York, but it just has an establishing shot of some water and some buildings, and then it says The Room. It cuts to him at his home. He opens up the door. His lovely girlfriend Lisa is there. He says, "I've got something for you, honey. It's a red dress." And she's like, "Oh, it's a lovely red dress. Can I put it on?" He says, "Sure, it's yours." And just the way that he said it, immediately I was like, the dialogue in this is going to be nonsensical. So after she puts on the new red dress, they're hanging out, they're talking a little bit, and then the door opens, and it's their friend Denny. Denny's this little kid man, and he's like, "Hey guys, well, what's going on?" And they're like, "Well, actually, Denny, I'm about to go upstairs and take a nap." And Denny's like, "Can I come upstairs too?" Lisa's like, "Actually, I'm gonna join him." They walk upstairs, and Tommy's doing his signature ha 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 ha, his laugh, like, while they walk and talk, and the sound is awful. It's fucking god-awful. So they're upstairs, and they start, like, pillow fighting with each other. It's like, oh, this is the foreplay that is supposed to be, I guess. Pillow fight. Denny just shows up upstairs and, like, jumps into the bed, jumps in with them, and he's like, "I just like to watch you guys." And Tommy's like, "Three's a crowd, Denny." And he's like, "Okay, fine. I gotta go do homework anyway." And so he leaves, and then just the worst sex scene ever happens. There's this bed that they're just doing this terrible foreplay on. It's just fucking awful. The camera keeps just circling around the bed, and it's just over and over. Just shots of just circling around the bed, them giggling and playfully messing with the rose. So when they finally get down to it, like, shots of Tommy, like, awkwardly, just in different awkward positions. Like, she's on her back, and he's like up on her chest. I think that's what Tommy, I think he's an alien. I think he actually thinks that's where vaginas are. And then Tommy gets up, and he drops the blanket, and you get to see his man ass. You get to see Tommy's ass, his wizo crack. Next scene is with Lisa's mom. She's talking about how she doesn't really like Johnny anymore. Lisa is. The mom is totally wants her to marry Tommy. She says, "Tommy's got money. He can support you. He's a good man." Alright, so she talks Mark into coming over and hanging out with her. He shows up at the door, and he just immediately is like, "Hi, how you doing?" Like he's never met, like he's a pizza guy. Like it's about to, like you're about to hear chicka chicka bam 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 bam. Lisa seduces Mark in a really creepy, rapey way. She's very forceful, like, "Oh, don't you want to do it?" And he's like, "We shouldn't be doing this. This is wrong and weird." And she's like, "Oh, but don't you want it? We gotta do it, because I'm gonna make you do it, and we're gonna do it." The sound in this movie is so bad, and the music is weird and creepy, and the music makes that scene even more rapey and weird. So it's only been like 5 minutes since the first sex scene. Immediate new sex scene, same type of camera shots where it's just like going around the bed, but it's Mark and Lisa this time, and it's different sex music. I mean, at least this one's a little bit better. It's a little more funky. It's like a 90s sexy jam. The lyrics in these weird sex songs are just so generic and terrible. This one is like, just, "You are my rose, you are my special rose, you're my rose, you are a rose." And it it's repetitive, and it's called "You Are My Rose" by the Shut the Fuck Ups. And then the famous flower scene where Tommy walks into the flower shop. All the sound is awful, and all of his lines just seem like they're dubbed over, of course. And he just, like, pays for everything very quickly. Oh, it's this? Okay, here's your money, you little doggy. Hi, doggy. My theory is that Tommy Wiseau is an actual alien, and the reason it seems weird when he's talking and it's hard to look at and hard to understand is because our human brains can't actually comprehend what's happening. We're not able to see his mouth move in the correct way, and the words don't come out right. It's our brains. It's our fault. He's speaking his regular language. Lisa is ordering a pizza, and she goes half Canadian bacon pineapple, half artichokes, and pesto with light cheese. If she's ordering that for her and Tommy, which half goes to who? I'm guessing Canadian bacon pineapple for evil Lisa lady, and weird artichoke pesto light cheese for alien Tommy. Just a theory, just a hunch. Everybody in this movie is a super creep, and the music makes everything feel like a horror movie. You feel like someone's about to get murdered, like it's gonna be like a slasher. The music is very like, oh, 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 oh. At times there's like a choir, and it's very, very odd. And then other times it's just like undertones. I felt really anxious and uncomfortable watching this movie. Ha 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 ha. Oh ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Good one. Lisa talks Tommy into drinking alcohol. He says, "You know I don't drink." She says, "If you love me, you'll drink this." And they go right into another goddamn horrible sex scene. Ugh. It's so boring and stupid. This is just another excuse for them to show her boobs and to have a terrible sex scene. There's these other two very odd characters. I don't know what to call this one guy. That fucking guy. And here he is again later. He makes a lot of silly faces. He likes sex, and he does his sex with Lisa's other friend that she talks to sometimes, who's not, the girl character's not that bad, but old BJ face over here is retarded. It's so stupid. They have the stupidest awkward sex scene on a couch where like they're playing with chocolate. They're like, you know, chocolate's the symbol of love. Chocolate's the symbol of love. And did you know chocolate was the symbol of love? And like puts it up and like eats it. And he's always making these weird faces. By the way, I had no idea who these people were. They're in the room. They're in the house that is owned by Tommy. And people are just coming and going. These people just showed up in the house randomly. Every time I started to smile a little bit in this movie, the dialogue and the music and just the awfulness of it took me right out. I would go from being like, oh my god, this is ridiculous, to going like, fucking kill me. The mom actually says some funny things. Like, she mentions all the people coming in and out of the house. She's like, what is this? People are just coming in and out of this place? What is this, Grand Central Station? And I was like, there's a lot of really fucking weird scenes on the roof. Denny's up there, and he's got a basketball for some reason, and I was like, why do you have a basketball on the roof? They never show, like, a hoop. You know, they don't show a hoop on the building anywhere up there. Why do you have a basketball on the roof? Denny? You gonna play some bounce, throw, catch, bounce? On the roof? Another random dude shows up on the roof with Denny and his basketball, and he's like, you got my money? He's got like a beanie on. Denny's like, I'll have your money to you soon. I don't have it right now. And the guy's like, what? You don't have my money? Pulls out a gun, sticks it on his fucking head. Like, yeah, you better get the fucking money. And then Tommy and Mark show up, and they're like, oh, they grab the guy, and they get him out of there. Out of nowhere, Lisa and her mom also show up. I thought the mom had gone. Mom had gone. There was something else had happened. But Mom shows up. So, like, all the characters are involved in this scene, just for some reason. And Lisa's there, and her mom's behind her. The mom's like, what were you doing? What kind of drugs? This is awful what you're doing. And Lisa's just losing her mind. What is wrong with you, Denny? What the fuck is wrong with you? And Tommy and Mark come back up to the roof. Like, immediately after disposing of the criminal drug guy. Where did they take him? They just, like, went downstairs with this gentleman with the gun. And then came immediately back upstairs. Where did he go? Did they just throw him out on the street and say, don't you come back here, you? So Mark and Tommy end up alone on the roof after the other people leave this awkward scene, and Mark is talking about women and like, I think women are weird and I don't know why they do the things they do sometimes. So I'm thinking, like, Mark is an okay guy. He's not a bad guy. Lisa's manipulative. Lisa's kind of being a bad person. And Tommy is like, Lisa said I hit her. And I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? Just like all over what is happening right now. She told him that he hit her, I guess, during his drunken stupor. Oh, ha 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 ha. Somehow they got a football on the roof. They're tossing around the football. Like, I think Tommy just thinks that's how people communicate. They talk and they toss a ball around wherever they are. That's why everybody, all the guys have to have a sports ball to do something with. Another theory, Tommy Wiseau might be a figure of our imagination, or at least the imagination of the people in the movie. They might be imagining him being there, but it never really feels like he's there. It always kind of feels like maybe we're losing our minds and he's not actually there, because everything he says is weird and it doesn't look right. I had heard people criticize the movie about having, like, there's a lot of opening of doors and closing of doors and people walking in and out, and it's not an exaggeration. That happens so much, and it is off-putting and very, very strange. Just people walking in and out of places randomly, then, leaving, like, hey, what's going on? Oh, Tommy hit you? Okay, I'll come back later, and then just leaving, that kind of stuff. On the roof, Denny confesses his love of Lisa, and Tommy's like, well, it's okay. I mean, she's a beautiful woman. We are just normal men. We just do these human things. It's not your fault. And then he's like, let's go get some food to eat here. 45 minutes and 37 seconds into this movie, I was like, I'm into this. This is bad. It's really, really bad and a little bit hard to watch, but people need to see this. This is crazy. And it's making me laugh. And so they're in an alley, and they're just talking back and forth, and they're throwing the football again, because that's what people do when they're talking to each other. They throw a football. How do you know you're having a discussion unless you're throwing a ball to a friend? But then, like, other characters show up. Fucking Mark shows up, and Goofy Face Dude shows up, and they're just all in the alley, just talking, just throwing the ball. And when the other guys, like, showed up in the alley, terrifying music is playing. It's frightening. I feel like this is about to turn into like a snuff movie. The music freaked me out. Lisa is telling somebody about cheating on Tommy, and Tommy's like hiding in the background like on a stairwell, and he once he finds out, he says to himself, I show them. I record everything. There's a weird guy with glasses that shows up. And because of what Tommy says, you find out that he's a psychologist. But just a giant scene of them talking that is totally awkward, and the music is horrifying. It seems like a horror movie, like something is about to happen, is what the music makes you feel like something terrible is about to happen. At 55 minutes and 49 seconds, I was not sure that I could take any more. I felt like I needed to shut the movie off. It was starting to hurt my brain, and it was making me very anxious and uncomfortable. So just 10 minutes before this, I was like, this is okay, this is a goof. And then I was like, you know what, I don't even know, man. I don't know if this is even worth it. Ha 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 ha. Lisa and Denny walk into the room. They start having a discussion. Denny immediately sits down. But there's a chair in frame, and he sits where the chair is. So let me just paint a picture in your brain. We're seeing a corner of the room. They've opened the door. They've left the door open. And they're having a weird discussion where she's standing up, and Denny is sitting down, halfway covered by a chair. And then he just walks out the open door. End of scene. Jesus Christ, what is this? The psychiatrist dude is on the roof, and Mark is up there also for some reason, and Mark is smoking some weeds, and psychiatrist dude is like, you know that's bad for you, and you shouldn't do that, and it's wrong for people to do that, and you're bad if you do it. And Mark gets kind of aggressive with him. Is this guy a real psychiatrist? I'm starting to think maybe Tommy just found this guy outside and was like, hey, you want a job for some reason? Hey, would you like to come work for just a couple of minutes? I have money to pay if you pretend to be anti-drug person on a rooftop. Mark actually takes the psychiatrist dude, and he's so pissed off, he dangles him over a ledge like he's gonna throw him off the top of this building. And then after it calms down a little bit, he's like, sorry, man. And he's like, no, it's okay. You were just mad. It's like, he just fucking threatened to throw you off a goddamn building! I don't think there's cursing in this movie. I don't know what this movie is rated. Mark almost says fuck. He's like, what the and I think he just remembered he's in Tommy's movie, so he can't say that. All the guys are trying to get psychiatrist dude to come play ball. They're like, hey, come throw the ball around with us again while we talk about nonsense and throw a ball. Tommy says, what are you, chicken? And cheap, 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 cheap. And then everybody starts going, cheap, 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 cheap. The psychiatrist guy, is running to catch the ball and just falls over awkwardly. And I think that's supposed to be like a nerd moment. Like, hey, the guy has glasses, and he's probably not good with the sports balls. Let's have scene where nerd falls. Let's throw ball to nerd and see if catch it. There's other little sex scene stuff kind of sprinkled in. It basically, this really looks and feels like the longest, terriblest, softcore porn on the Lifetime original network. Tommy says something about the bank that he works at. And Mark's like, what bank? And Tommy's like, none of your business. And then walks off. And it's like, are you not acting? Is this real life right now? Are you just not wanting people to know on camera during your movie you're telling people not to ask about your business? There's another sex scene and it was boring as fuck, so I skipped it. And I don't normally do that. I stuck through this review. I watched this movie for you guys so that I could do this. But I will not subject myself to another terrible sex scene. I'm just one man. I can only endure so much. Maybe Tommy didn't have a dad. Maybe the dad never played catch with him or something. Maybe that's a big deep-seated thing in his mind, and he feels like only by passing a ball to another guy can you really connect with them, and he's never had that in his life. But it's Tommy's birthday, so there's a surprise birthday party. He opens the door. You didn't see it coming. He opened another door. He comes in, and everybody's, happy birthday. They sing the whole birthday song in a terrible, terrible scene. For some reason, all the birthday party people decide to go outside, and Lisa immediately starts trying to fuck Mark. And he's like, these people, they're just right out there. We shouldn't be doing this. And she's like, yeah, but I'm terrible, so we're gonna. For some reason, a random person shows up. He walks right in the door. We haven't seen him before. I don't think he was at the party. He's just some guy. Opens the door, catches Mark and Lisa, and says, what are you doing? What are you guys doing? This is terrible. This is wrong. You are bad for doing this. And I was like, who is this person? Not been introduced. I don't even think he has a name in the movie. He just shows up and says, you're doing a bad thing. Is this Lisa, the actress that played Lisa? Is this her father just showing up on set? Did Tommy set this up? Tommy, you goof? Did you set up this prank? The way if Tommy actually wrote this, the way that he writes female dialogue is so odd and strange. And it really feels like all of them speaking is the way that he thinks that women think and speak. Like he's never, ever been around people before. Oh, is that Tommy? Lisa says, I don't want to talk about it a lot. Tommy says, I don't want to talk about it a lot. I think that's the catchphrase of the movie. During the birthday party, Tommy confronts Mark and says, I know you've been sleeping with her. I know you've been doing this thing. And they get in a fight. There's a weird little fight scene. The actor Mark guy in this movie says to Johnny Tommy actor guy, "What planet are you on?" And I was like, valid question. Tommy says, "Get out." And then Tommy does a little cheep cheep to Mark. and Mark is enraged by this cheep cheep. How dare you cheep cheep at me? Well, I know the movie wasn't cheep cheep, but it looks fucking cheep cheep as shit. Johnny's in the bathroom, and he's all depressed, and he's huddled, and he hasn't come out of there for a while. And Lisa's outside. She's like, "Come out, Johnny." And he's like, "In a few minutes, bitch." And it says something about, like, "You and your stupid bitch mother."
Your mother's a bitch.
Lisa just had a conversation about her cheating and being an asshole. And then he's like, "I've got proof that you are this asshole." And then he pulls out the tape. What was the tape recording? That was an old school telephone. She was talking to a person live. You have a tape cassette that could probably only record like an answering machine message or something. How did you set that? It doesn't make any sense. Johnny hears about her talking to Mark or whatever about, "Yeah, Tommy sucks and I want to be with you." And Tommy angry, Tommy smash, and he just starts breaking shit, just knocking shit over, just the worst. Tommy says, "Why is this happening to me?" And he pulls a gun out of a box, and he puts it in his mouth, and he pulls the trigger. And Mark and Lisa show up, and they're like, "No, what the hell? What'd you do? Why'd you do it?" And then Denny shows up, and he's like, "No, he was like a father to me." It says, "You guys get out! Lisa, you killed him!" And then it just like pulls away. You see Tommy with blood all over the place. And then it pulls back to the back of their heads. You see Denny and Lisa and Mark. And then it goes straight into like, bam, chicka, damn, bam, 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 bam. Like, so was this supposed to be? Tommy, were you trying to make a softcore porn for something? Is that what this project was supposed to be? I don't know, people. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. This was... This might be good if you have like a group of people to hang out with and kind of, tease and joke about with them, and it's playing in the background at a party. This isn't a sit down by yourself and watch movie. I had a really hard time. There were moments where I was just like, what the fuck? What am I doing? This is awful. I can't. This is hard to watch. It's actually like bothering me, and I don't like it, and I wanted to turn it off, but I did it. I did it so I could tell you guys about it. I don't think that I can recommend this movie. I think what you've heard about it is true. It is fantastically, famously bad. At first, I was going to. I was on board. I was like, this is silly and goofy and campy and stupid. But then, during it just made me feel bad. I didn't like it. Watch it at your own risk. If there's a lifeguard on duty, maybe watch it. Keep a spotter. If you're going to watch this by yourself, at least have somebody like nearby watching to make sure that you're okay while you're watching it. Thank you guys for watching my review of The Room. I can't say that I enjoyed watching the movie, but I did enjoy making this for you guys, and I hope that you enjoyed, so I'll catch you next time. Thank you guys. Peace out. I felt like I was losing my goddamn mind during this!